details so that we can create your certificates following the criteria of 60% of attendance time, which means yeah, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I just left the meeting because of the internet. So I was saying that we will be following the 60% of attendance time criteria for the certificates, which means that you will be considered eligible for the certificates if you have if you are present in the workshop for 60% of its working time. So that's for the instructions. I don't know how much time we have. We have like 1 minute. So we'll start after 1 minute. All right, so it looks like everyone's ready. So let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. On the behalf of KSV and LDRP, I warmly welcome everyone who has joined us in the workshop this afternoon. Before moving forward, I have a quick intro about KSV and LDRP. So KSV, Kadi Sarva Vishwavidyalaya, is a university established with the Gujarat Act of 21 of 2007 and was approved by UGC. The university has been set up by Sarva Vidyalaya Kheloni Mandal, a trust with more than 100 years of philanthropic existence to provide need-based education and develop courses of contemporary relevance to be the University of Excellence by providing research and skill-based activities and training, which will foster higher economic growth and provide education to all respective caste, creed, religion, etc. Now talking about LDRP Institute of Technology and Research, it was established in 2005 and 6. The college has made steady progress during the past 16 years of its existence. And as a prestigious state institute, LDRP has long recognized its role in engineering education, generation, dissemination of useful and relevant technological, industrial, and economic development of the country. And now, LDRP and KSV has brought to you this Break the Barrier event, which is a compilation of various interactive workshops from industry experts, working professionals, experienced developers, CEOs, and more, where you can present your revolutionary ideas and skill ups with the competitive environment presented by the hackathon to grab the opportunity to win exciting prizes. So among these 14 plus featured workshops, today's workshop will be a fully interactive experience with a question answer session on how to crack product-based companies. And on that note, I would like to introduce our today's presenter for the workshop, Mr. Joban Singh, a software engineer at Microsoft. So without any further ado, I would like to hand over to Mr. Joban. Good afternoon, Joban sir. Grateful to have you on board.
Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, as you said, I have been working at Microsoft for 1 year, and yeah, so had some experience in software engineering, and yeah, looking forward to all the questions. Please, guys, feel free to ask any questions. I am happy to answer. Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting. Like, we'll take the answers from the questions from the chat, or like, how will be the format?
Yes, participants can unmute themselves after raising the hands. Also, they can ask the questions in the chat too.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll start with my background a bit. So I am from NIT Jalandhar. I completed my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering, and I got a summer internship at Microsoft, and got a return offer as a full-time employee. And yeah, I'm working as a software engineer for the past 1 year. And yeah, so prior to that, I was not a very like technology savvy person, but as I entered my bachelor's, I got to know about programming languages, and uh, computer science fundamentals. And I think, yeah, and interacting with seniors who are already working in good product-based companies, and got to know about how the interview process works, what kind of topics we need to prepare, and what kind of, obviously, product-based companies has a very good pay, so that was also a perk. But the underlying motivation was to build something meaningful. I think when you work with a product-based company, the products that you build touch millions and billions of lives, and that should be the driving force for you, and not the obviously money is one of the incentives that you get, but that should not be the sole motive. And yeah, so please, guys, feel free to ask any questions. This will be an interactive session. I'm not going to present any deck, any slide. I'll just share my experience and try to understand what problems you guys are facing, or any experience that you want me to share. Please do let me know. I'm looking for the chat as well. Please put your question in the chat if you are not comfortable in sharing the questions. You can ping me directly as well. I'm monitoring the chat. Okay, yeah, I see one question. How many rounds of exams or interviews is there to get into Microsoft? Okay, Kuldeep, it varies a bit. So if we go by standard software engineering role, basically there are 5 to 6 rounds. So one is an online round, which is like kind of a screening round that happens, and which has your DSA questions, some of the CS fundamentals. And then you guys will have, I would say, 4 to 5 technical face-to-face interview rounds. And it can be followed with a managerial or behavioral round. And so it depends on like what the role is, how many years of experience you are targeting. So if you are targeting for a software engineer two role, as in 4 to 5 years of experience, the interview process changes a bit. It becomes, so there are like 3 to 4 DSA rounds for SD2, and 1 or 2 system design interviews as well. So it depends, but I assume like you are asking for on-campus students and freshers. So for them, it's basically 5 to 6 rounds of interviews. Regarding what type of questions that are asked in interviews, I would say it's fairly standard. I think it's nothing like you will not get on online resources. For example, Lead Code, Code Chef, right? Um, these platforms are more than sufficient to practice data structures and algorithm questions. And I think the key theme in all the interview rounds is data structures and algorithms, and also your CS fundamentals, which are your object-oriented programming, your database management system, your operating systems, these kind of CS fundamental questions. And yeah, these are the questions that are basically asked. Okay, I see one more question: how to improve and develop your coding skill. Oh my God. Okay, so it's a very good question. Like how to improve your coding skills, right? I would say it depends on how much time you have, as in time, as in what is your target, right? If you want to get a job in 1 month, or if you want to get a job in 1 year, do you have 2 years? So that way is the breakdown changes, right? So assuming like you are a fresher in college, you have ample time to explore a lot of things, right? So you can try to first start with any language, pick up any language, doesn't matter, C, C++, Java, Python, anything. You can pick any language and try to get grasp of one language, try to understand the basic concepts of for loop, if loop, while loops, these kind of things, and then start uh, applying those programming language skills to solve some problems. And you can pick up simple um, pattern-based problems, simple lead code, easy problems. You can pick anything else. And the main ingredient that I feel is missing right now with a lot of students is, and I also was struggling with that when I was a student, was consistency. That is the one thing that will be differentiating you from getting a job and not getting a job, is consistency. Because coding is a skill that you cannot just learn overnight. You have to grind hard, and you have to get your logic building ability up to mark. And that only comes when you code day in, day out, as in you solve a lot of questions. It's not about cramming, I would say. You cannot cram all the TSA questions. It's about how you approach a problem, how you break down the problem, how you break down the solution, how you think about a problem from different angles, how to get unstuck when you are stuck on a problem. So these kind of things only comes when you have ample practice. And one of the things that you can try is try giving some coding competitions. That really helps, as in the time pressure really helps. You can give contests on Lead Code, Code Chef, Code Forces, doesn't matter. Everything is same. So the main thing that matters is the intent to solve as many problems as possible in less time, right? So yeah. So the next question is competitive coding necessary for a product-based company? Again, it is not necessary. I would not say it's a hard yes, but if you are good at competitive programming, it helps. Why it helps? Because what is competitive programming? Competitive programming is solving a tough or a question that you had never seen before in a limited amount of time, right? And what does that tell us about you? If you can solve complex-ish problems in a limited time, that tells you that you have that thinking power, you have that logical ability to break down a problem that you have never seen before, and you can come up with a solution, right? And in your day-to-day work, that is the most important thing, right? If you have that ability to break down any problem and come up with a solution, you can learn anything. it's very practical, right? Because in software engineering, you have to learn daily in your job. It's like today you are working on JavaScript, next day you will be working on Java. So it's not like everything will be constant. So comparative programming helps in that way. It's not a hard yes, you have to do it. But if you have time, I would say please try it out. There's no harm in trying comparative programming. You will learn something. Okay. Okay, how project play a role in placement? Okay, the question is like how much project matters in placements, the projects on your resume. Uh, it matters a lot actually. What kind of projects you have built, right? And what was your contribution to those projects? As a fresher, you don't have any industry experience. The only thing you have is your projects. And if you have good projects, it shows like you have some exposure, right? And those projects should not be like just completed the project and the project is sitting in your laptop. That's it. That should not be the case. If it's a website, publish that website, make it live. If it's an app, publish that app to Play Store, even if the download is only one, doesn't matter. Uh, Even if you are the only user, if somebody can see your work, that is very valuable. Put it on GitHub, showcase your work, and yeah, and it should not be superficial knowledge, as in don't just copy paste a project from internet. Um, that is not the way to go. Try to understand the project, what the project is, right? What are the underlying CS fundamentals that are used? For example, let's say you are just building a simple website with a simple backend, right? So what is asynchronous programming, right? That you use in a backend server. These kind of questions you should know, because when you are building a project, you should have that domain knowledge. What is multi-threading, right? How HTTP works, and these kind of things. Sorry, was that a question? Okay, I'll move on. So yeah, project do matters, and it's not like you have done 10 projects and you will show the all 10 in your resume. Pick up any 2-3 that you feel you have the best contribution and the best of your knowledge. Okay, any highlight points that need? Okay, so the question is how to kind of improve your CV, right? And so it can get selected in. Okay, so I think resume is very important. As in, you should not ignore your resume. One of the things that I see a lot of students make this mistake is like have like 2-3 pages long resume. Don't do that. The standard practice is to have 1 page. That's it. And try to condense the information, and also don't try to overcomplicate things. Keep it simple and make it readable as much as possible. Try to avoid grammatical mistakes. Try to include keywords, as in if you are building some project, what kind of technologies you have used, right? Try to include those keywords. Try to showcase some metrics, as in some numbers. Don't just write, I've built this project, that's it. Like showcase how many users are using your project, right? Let's say you improved a website and the latency improved by 1 second. Even that 1 second is a lot. So you try to add these kind of numbers. Don't just add like I just created a website, right? And yeah, I would say these kind of things matters. And also one thing that I saw is people try to gauge their skills, as in I know C++ 80%, I know Java 90%. I mean, I don't feel that's the right way to go. How are you judging yourself like you know 80% of C++, right? Like some people give scores. So I think leave that to the interviewer to judge, right? And yeah, I think that's some of the standard practices that you guys can follow in resume. Apart from resume, I would say one of the most important thing is your LinkedIn presence. Keep yourself active and up to date on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the way to go. Even resumes are getting somewhat less relevance on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is getting more priority. And try to reach out to people on LinkedIn. Try to build a community. Try to reach out to recruiters directly. And if your resume is not getting selected when you are applying to a job, try to ask for a referral. Put your case when you are asking for referral. Don't just say, I want a referral. Please give the other person a good reason to give you a referral, right? There has to be a solid reason. Try to showcase what your skills are when asking a referral, as in don't just and also if you can provide the job ID, that also helps. And yeah, I think that's about it. Okay. Next question is, as applying for the SD intern role also have same. I think, yeah. So the question is, does internship roles also have same 5 to 6 rounds of interviews? And the answer to them is, actually it varies by company to company, but mostly the process is same. I would say the level of questions can be a bit different because you are applying for an internship and not a full-time role, right? So as an intern, you get a bit easier questions, but that also depends on your experience level, right? If it's a second year student or a third year student, right? But more or less, the number of rounds remains the same. And also, yeah, I would say number of rounds remain the same, and the questions are, so the focus is mainly on data structures and algorithm, nothing major changes there. Next question is for communication skills. Yeah, communication skill is very important. As a software engineer, you will have to work in a team setting, right? You will not work individually. You will not work alone. You will work in a team. And when you work in a team, communication is a very important aspect. And also, so this is different than if you know English or not, right? Communication is different than that. If you are facing some difficulties in your English, that's okay. Nobody is going to judge you on your language skill. They will judge you on your communication skills. Okay. And the point is, in an interview, are you able to explain the logic? That's as simple as that. Nobody is going to question you on your grammatical mistake, or nobody going to point you like you are not speaking grammatically correct English or any language. So don't have that fear in mind. And also, so in a software engineering role, why communication matters is, let's say you picked up a project and you are not able to communicate properly. In how much time you will be able to complete it, right? So that is not acceptable. As in, you should be able to clarify what the requirements are, what blockers you are facing, what challenges you are facing. So these kind of things comes into communication, but it's not the language part of the communication, right? So having a language barrier is a different thing. Communication skills is a different thing. So try to segregate these two. Okay, so next question is, how can you get internship at big MNCs like Google, Amazon, etc.? Yeah, Sagar. So that's the $1 million question, right? How you can get internship. So again, there is no shortcut. I would say it's a bit boring answer, but that's the truth. You have to have those skills in you. And as I said, like coming from a tier 3 college, it's just kind of, it has its own challenges, but don't have that in mind, like you are being limited because you are from a tier 3 or a tier 2 college, right? I think tiers are getting less and less relevance in today's day, as in nobody is going to see on your resume like you are from a tier 3 college. If you are from a tier 3, tier 4 college, but still you are 6-star coder on CodeChef, you are very respectable. There is nothing as such. You are not getting to get an interview because you are from a X college, right? So don't get into that mentality. I would say it's only going to um, pull you down. Uh, Other than that, I would say there are a lot of there is no shortage of resources in today's state online, free resources, I would say. So try to leverage them. Um, don't get into yeah, and again the consistency matters, right? And if you are grinding consistently, you will definitely get your opportunity. uh, it will be months late, you will face some rejections, but that's okay. And yeah, and just see it as a numbers game. If you are applying to a company which is like Google, for example, thousands of people are also applying, right? Why you should get hired? You have to prove. And that's that comes down to your skills, nothing else. So yeah, I would say be practical about it. And yeah, that's that's the only answer that I have. So the next question is for placements where you can do interview practice. So that's a good question. I always say before uh, giving interviews, try to give mock interviews. And there are like a lot of platforms for mock interviews. There is one PRAMP, P-R-A-M-P, PRAMP platform where you can just book a mock interview and somebody will take your interview. And we don't have to be that fancy. You can just ask your friend and to take an technical interview or a behavioral interview. And I would say that giving mock interviews is the best way to practice your skills. And yeah, I would say give as much mock interview as you can. And yeah, you will see an improvement when you start giving mock interviews. But yeah, mock interviews are very important for in any case. You can see the relevance, right? If you are able to mimic the actual interview environment, it will only going to help you, right? Okay, next question is what topics are focused more in TSA questions in interviews? Okay, so there are no, I would not name any specific topics. As in there is no one way to go, as in do DP and you will be able to crack any interview. There is nothing like that. It all depends on the day, on the interviewer, what he or she wants to ask you, right? And it don't, and when you start looking at DSA questions from the topic point of view, you are getting into the territory of cramming the questions, right? Rather than getting into solving the questions on the logical merit, right? So as I said, there is no one topic which is very important and one topic which is like irrelevant. So so suppose I say today trees are very important, and next day you go to an interview and there is no question on trees. So it's nothing like that. And every topic has its relevance. And yeah, so there are some topics which are tougher than the other, but every topic is important. Yeah, so next question is on logic building. Uh, how you can improve your logic building? I would say what I have observed is people try to jump to medium to hard questions and just skip the process. You cannot just build a like logical ability in 1 day or 2 day, right? It takes a lot of time. So give yourself that time. Don't be hard on yourself, right? And your brain takes a lot of time to build that muscle. And it takes someone 1 week, some other people, it takes just 1 day. So don't try to compare yourself to others. And the only thing is, try to be incremental, as in start with easy problems, then with medium, then with hard. There is, as I said, these are very boring answers, as in everybody knows them, but that's the only way to go. There is no other way. And I think there is no magic pill or something like that that you can take and your logical ability will improve overnight, right? There is nothing like that. Even after so many years of practicing data structure, sometimes I also struggle in getting the right logic. So it's totally okay. One second, guys, I'll back. Yeah, guys, I am not seeing any new questions, so please keep posting. And I have 5 to 10 minutes more, and I have to drop. So please do share any questions that are left. I'm not monitoring the YouTube stream. So Khushbu, if there is any question from there, please do share.
Yes.
Okay, just let's do a quick poll. And how many students in this session are from first year? Just put one in chat. Or you can raise your hand, anything is fine. Okay, I got a question. Node.js and Spring Boot, which one is good to learn? Okay, so this is very subjective question. Okay, so if you come from a Java background, right, then Spring Boot is the way to go. Okay, if you come from a JavaScript background, then Node.js. There is nothing. It's as simple as that. Or you can learn the other thing as well. It's not like if you know Java, you cannot learn Node.js, but it depends on your use case, right? If you want to build a project quickly and just college level project, I would say Node.js is a bit easier to set up and all. And in terms of resources as well, online resources, but there is no such comparison you can make from Spring Boot or Node.js. So for example, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. Spring Boot is a very Node.js and both are very great frameworks, but you cannot just simply compare them, right? It depends on your use case. Okay. Okay, is the knowledge of data structures in one programming language enough in terms of skills to crack an interview? As I said, you can pick any language, any one language, and just you should be able to solve the question, right? That's it. And so if you take it that way, yeah, then one language and data structures and algorithms should be enough. But if you are putting on your resume that you have built some 2-3 projects, right? So you should be able to explain yourself, like what you did in those projects, what did you learn? So if you count it as a different skill, then yes, you have to learn that as well. So yeah. Okay, how many students from second year can raise your hands? Okay. Okay, only 3. Okay. How many from third year? Okay, so there is a question like, is web development has some job perspectives, right? So I would say web development is one of the best field to go in, as in it always will have an job perspective, and it historically it always have had. Sorry. So if you are interested in web development, yeah, sure, it's a great choice. But I would say if you have time, you can explore other things as well. It's nothing is stopping you, right? Okay, I assume rest are from final year students, right? So a lot of you people are from final year. Guys, am I audible? Had a internet issue.
Yes, now you're audible.
Okay, okay. Which as I said, so if you are from Java background, you can choose Spring Boot, and if you are from a JavaScript background, you can go with Node.js. And if you are new, then just go with Node.js. I don't have any preference, and there is no hardcore reason behind it. You can pick anything. The fundamentals remain the same. And from job perspective, both are fine. Okay, so how to contribute in an open source project? Yeah, that's a good question. So contributing to open source is a very nice way to get recognized, right? So a very simple way is to pick up any project on GitHub that you like personally. For example, I like React, the front end framework. So I can just pick up React repository and start looking at the requests that people are making. I can go to the issues and find out. So every issue have a tag with it. So you can just pick up an issue which has a good first issue tag, which means it's a great tool if you are a beginner. So you can start from there. And if you are doubtful if software engineering is contributing to open source is a very good note, because it's a very great thing if you can do that. And a lot of people get placed in very good companies from their open source contributions. There are a lot of hackathons that happen on various Hacker Earth and all those websites. You can go there as well. Is publishing research really important to get product? Okay, question is publishing research or review papers, research papers, important to get into product-based companies? So it depends actually. If we are going for a research-based role, then yes, definitely it will help you if you have some papers published, right? For example, if you're going for a data scientist role, right? Or a machine learning engineer role. So their research papers does matter. And if you are going for a traditional software engineering role, then they are less. I would not say they are not. It doesn't matter if you have a research paper. That's very good. That 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 is one thing that can like put you separate from the crowd if you have a research paper. But in general, I would say it's okay if you don't have a research paper. Okay, so question is like, which language should you learn, Java or Python? So as I said, like it's up to you. There is no hard and fast rule here. Java is a very great language, but it has some learning curve associated with it. You have to spend some time on Java. And Python is very easy to learn if you are just a beginner, right? If you are a beginner and you want to get the feeling of what programming is, you can go with Python. It's very easy to learn. But as such, in terms of utility and what these languages can do, I don't think there is much difference. But yes, if you are going in a machine learning or a data scientist or a data analyst role, or so there are specific roles where Python is very useful and it is heavily used, right? So those kind of roles are Python heavy. And if you are just looking for a journalistic point of view as in a software role, then anything is fine. Thank you. Yeah, I think I have answered most of the questions. So thanks, guys. It was really nice interacting to you. You guys can ping me on LinkedIn as well if you have any questions. I'm active on LinkedIn. And yeah, I'll answer one last question that just came up. Is it okay if we don't have enough knowledge of front end? So if you are applying for a front end role, then no, it's not okay if you don't have enough knowledge. But I would say it depends on your role, right? If you are applying for a journalistic software engineering role, that's okay. And you can learn your front end skills on the go. But if you are specifically applying for a front end engineer role, then yeah, it's expected that you know front end. All right. Yeah, I think we can wrap up. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today and solving our questions. As we had less time today, if participants have more questions, can we collect them and then share it to you? Will it be okay?
Yeah, no worries. Please do share it with me. Yeah, I'll try to answer them. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us today.
Sure, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. So let's conclude the workshop today. Thank you everyone for being a part of this workshop. As we said, if you have many questions, we'll be sharing a feedback form. There is one whole section for your other extra questions. You can add your question in that feedback form. It will also contain your details. Please make sure that you fill in those details so that we can create your feedback, create your certificate based on the name that you provide us in that feedback form. So, and also please register in the hackathon if you have not done yet, and join the Discord server because it's really mandatory to get further information about the event, and stay connected with our social media to stay updated. So that's it. Thank you everyone for joining the session today. Have a good day.